What if I told you that a single glance could reveal the deepest truth about who you really are? That one unconscious reaction, lasting barely a second, could expose psychological patterns you've spent your entire life hiding, even from yourself. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover will fundamentally change how you understand your own mind. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever caught your reflection unexpectedly and felt something you couldn't quite name? That momentary encounter with your own image contains more psychological truth than you might imagine. According to Carl Jung, the way we respond to our own reflection reveals not just how we see ourselves, but how our unconscious mind has constructed our entire identity. Before we go deeper, if you're genuinely interested in understanding the hidden architecture of your psyche, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. This channel is dedicated to unlocking the transformative wisdom of Carl Jung. Every week, we explore insights that don't just inform you, they transform you. Now, let's begin the test. I need your complete presence for this. Imagine you're walking down a hallway, lost in thought, and suddenly you pass a mirror. In that first split second, before your conscious mind engages, what emotion do you feel?
Is it curiosity? A genuine interest in seeing yourself? Is it comfort? A sense of recognition, of coming home? Is it criticism? An immediate inventory of flaws, of things needing fixing? Or is it avoidance? An instinct to look away, to not engage? Your answer reveals how you meet your own unconscious, whether you approach the hidden parts of yourself with openness or fear, with acceptance or judgment. The response you have in that unguarded moment shows what Jung called the ego-self relationship. It reveals whether you're at war with yourself or at peace, whether you're integrated or fragmented. Think about that moment of unexpected encounter with your reflection. What emotion rises first? Trust that initial feeling. Your unconscious knows the truth before your conscious mind tries to manage it. Have you identified your response? Good. What I'm about to reveal will illuminate patterns that have been shaping your entire psychological life. If your immediate response is curiosity, you revealed something extraordinary. You are what Jung would identify as someone with an individuated relationship to the self. This is incredibly rare. Feeling curiosity means you haven't frozen your identity into a fixed concept. You understand that who you are is constantly evolving, constantly revealing new dimensions. This makes you psychologically flexible in ways most people aren't. Your gift is non-judgmental awareness. You can look at parts of yourself that others would find shameful, and instead of recoiling, you investigate. This is the essence of shadow work, the practice Jung considered fundamental to psychological wholeness. But your ability to observe yourself can sometimes become a defense mechanism. You can become so good at analyzing that you avoid actually feeling. You turn lived experience into psychological data. Jung warned that consciousness without engagement is just another form of unconsciousness. Your challenge is learning to participate fully while maintaining awareness. If seeing your reflection brings comfort, you've achieved what Jung spent his entire career trying to help people find: genuine reconciliation with yourself. Your comfort response indicates that your conscious self is in healthy relationship with your deeper psyche. There's no war between who you think you should be and who you actually are. You've accepted your fundamental humanity, with all its contradictions. This integration gives you a groundedness that others can feel. Your acceptance of your own humanity gives others permission to be human too. But true comfort only comes after you've been uncomfortable with yourself. You've probably been through what Jung called the dark night of the soul, and you used the breakdown as a breakthrough. Your challenge is maintaining integration without becoming stagnant. Comfort shouldn't mean you stop growing. If your immediate response is criticism, if your mind instantly catalogs flaws, you've revealed the psychological battle you're fighting every day. You are at war with yourself. Feeling criticism doesn't mean you're vain. It means you've internalized a standard of perfection that no human could ever meet, and you're punishing yourself for failing to achieve the impossible. Your critical response reveals that your ego is locked in conflict with what Jung called the superego, that internalized voice of impossible standards. This judge is never satisfied. No achievement is enough. The cruel irony Jung recognizes is that the more you criticize yourself, the less you're able to actually grow. Real psychological development requires loving acceptance. You can't heal what you're constantly judging. Your criticism creates a vicious cycle. You feel inadequate, so you criticize yourself to improve. The criticism makes you feel worse, which intensifies the criticism. This pattern didn't start with you. It was installed in you, probably very early. You internalized a message. You are not acceptable as you are. Your challenge is learning self-compassion, not valuable because of what you achieve, but valuable because you exist. If your immediate response is avoidance, if your instinct is to look away, you've revealed something deeply significant. You are disconnected from yourself in a way that affects everything in your life. Feeling avoidance doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've experienced something so painful that disconnection became necessary for survival. Your psyche is protecting you from something it believes you can't handle. Your avoidance response indicates what Jung called a severe ego self-split. You're actively fleeing from self-encounter. This pattern likely started as protection from trauma or overwhelming rejection. You learned to exist without self-reflection, to navigate life while remaining psychologically absent from it. This creates a strange kind of life. You're functioning but not fully alive, going through the motions while remaining absent from your own existence. But your avoidance is not permanent. It's not who you are. It's what you learned to survive. Jung believed the psyche has an inherent drive toward wholeness. Part of you wants to integrate, wants to heal. That's why you're watching this video. Your challenge is gently, carefully learning to look at yourself again. This work cannot be rushed. Here's what connects all four responses. Each reveals where you are in the process of individuation, Jung's term for becoming fully yourself. Curiosity shows active individuation. Comfort shows achieved integration to focus. If curiosity, move from observation to embodiment. If comfort, maintain integration while embracing growth. If criticism, learn self-compassion. If avoidance, gently reclaim yourself. And here's what's crucial. Your relationship with your reflection mirrors your relationship with your shadow. How you meet your reflection shows exactly how you meet the unacknowledged parts of yourself. Jung was clear, the shadow must be integrated. The parts you reject don't disappear. They go underground and affect you from the unconscious. The only way to genuine psychological health is bringing them into consciousness. Your response isn't fixed. It's simply where you are right now. As you do the work of integration, as you heal wounds and acknowledge shadow, your response will evolve. The person avoiding their reflection today might discover curiosity tomorrow. The person criticizing themselves now might find comfort later. You're not stuck. Every response contains a gift trying to emerge. The criticism shows someone who cares about growth. The avoidance shows protective capacity. The curiosity contains potential for wisdom.
The comfort provides foundation for transformation.
Jung believed that psychological insight carries moral weight. Once you see something clearly, you're responsible for it. So here's what I want you to do. First, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. We're creating a library of Jungian wisdom, tools for becoming fully yourself. Second, drop a comment sharing which response you had. This work isn't meant to be done alone. Third, choose one small practice based on your response and commit to it this week. Real change happens through sustained small actions. The mirror test shows you exactly where your psychological work needs to focus. It's not a judgment, it's a map. It's not a verdict, it's an invitation.
The fact that you watched this video proves something essential. Part of you is ready for this work. Part of you wants to become whole. That's what Jung called the self, and it never gives up on you. Your wholeness is waiting. Your authentic self is calling. The only question is whether you'll answer. Thank you for joining me on this exploration. If this resonated with you, hit that like button. And remember, you belong in this community of people committed to consciousness and growth. Until next time, keep looking, keep questioning, keep growing. The journey toward wholeness is the greatest adventure any human being can undertake.